body or spirit and sing once more our opening hymn written by Matt Meyer called Bright Morning Stars.
Bright morning stars arising, bright morning stars arising, bright morning stars arising. Day is breaking in my soul. Rise up from morning slumber, rise up from morning slumber, rise up from morning slumber. Day is breaking in my soul. Rise up. Rise up and hear your calling. Rise up and hear your calling. Rise up and hear your calling. Day is breaking in my soul. Lift your voice, oh, lift your voice to heaven. Lift your voice to heaven. Oh, lift your voice to heaven. Day is breaking in my soul. We'll build this faith together. We'll make this faith together. We'll build this faith together. Day is breaking in my soul.
Isaiah throwing some lines at us. We got it. All right. Here we go.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tom Mead. I serve on the board, and I am your worship associate for this beautiful Sunday morning. We welcome you into this sanctuary where we celebrate diversity and learn from one another, no matter our differences, to deepen our sacred connections to transform the world with love. Let us begin our worship with these opening words by Reverend Dr. David Breeden. It's called The Day Unwritten. Welcome to a new story. Welcome to a day unwritten. We gather to speak of possibility. We remember the losses. We celebrate the victories. We embrace the possible over than the probable. Weaving the story of hope. Join us in the new story. Join us in the day unwritten. Join us in the future of possibility. We're glad to have you here today as we embrace the possibilities that we can create as a community of truth seekers, a people centered in love. Now, Heather will get us started with a call to community.
Thank you, Tom. I am Heather Norby. I am the Spiritual Life Director for this fantastic congregation, and I use the pronouns she and her. Around here, we say love plus connection equals transformation. And what does that mean? It means that we want you to root yourselves in love and connect with others so we can transform ourselves and this world towards harmony and beauty. So here are some ways that we can connect. Have you signed up for hospitality? Remember that radical hospitality is a way to be a part of the resistance. So please see, let's see, I think Jamie is here today. If you're interested in helping out with hospitality, we could certainly use your hands and your thinking skills. Do you want to announce that movie on Wednesday? No. Sorry, I forgot to ask before the service.
We're just doing a little special fun thing. Since it's a fifth Wednesday this month, you don't get a lot of fifth Wednesdays. So if you want to come at 6:30, film will start at 7. We're just going to be showing The Devil Wears Prada and talking about the evils of the devil and Prada.
Again, just for fun, yeah, because the second one's coming out, so watch the first one. All right, so today is our annual meeting. Once a year, we get together, we vote on our budget and other important things that determine how we're going to move forward in the future of this congregation. So if you're a member, please come to the annual meeting. Adam has proxies. If you can't come to the annual meeting and you are a member, please see Adam to figure out how to vote via proxy. All right. The newsletter deadline is this Thursday at noon. Gal's been out of town, but she is going to publish the newsletter for May. And so if you want to submit something, you send it to newsletter@uuclakeland.org. All right, this Thursday evening at maybe 6 or 7, so bad at writing down those times, is an Interfaith Coalition of Polk County event. The time is in the newsletter. At the Temple Emmanuel on Lake Hollingsworth, we are doing a panel on spiritual practices. And so I'll be speaking there, representing the Unitarian Universalists and our spiritual practices. And we will also have a representative from our Jewish community, one or maybe two from the Christian community, and Andy Quinn from our Lakeland Insight Meditation Group, who does Buddhist meditation, will also be speaking. So please join us at the Temple this Thursday night. 6 o'clock, thank you. Got my back, all right. Friday, Isaiah is having a guitar workshop. Yeah, right here in the sanctuary from 2 to 5. Whether you play the guitar or not, come jam with Isaiah. But bring a guitar. Okay, yeah. Isaiah is lots of fun, so don't miss out. All right, well, last night was our annual dinner. We had lots of fun. If you see anything is a little messy today, just know that that's just leftover joy. And that many of us were here very late, and again here very early. So we're not cranky because of it, we're just tired. But we had a great time. If you weren't able to make it, I don't want you to feel bad. I just want you to know that it's always, come next time, because it's always more joyful with you there. There was lots of singing and playing around. It was great fun. And Jade made a chalice painting for us, and so it's hanging on the wall over there. And we didn't really get much of a chance to see it because it was drying or whatnot, but there it is. So hopefully there's more of that to come. All right, well, please. Oh, yeah, there's no order of service today either. Sorry. Can't do everything. So check our e-newsletter and to get information about more events. Thank you. Tom will get our chalice lit. Bye-bye.
Sage, you've done so well in the past. Would you do the honor of lighting our chalice? The flaming chalice is the symbol of this Unitarian Universalist faith. We light it each Sunday, as do UU churches around the world, to create sacred space, to connect us with one another, and to remember who we are as a people of faith. Let us center ourselves in love as we recite the covenant for our shared UU value of justice.
We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all
Please rise in body or spirit now and join me in singing in English and Spanish, Spirit of Life. I would love for the children to come forward to enjoy a book with me. Good morning. What you got? Is that a frog? Oh, I love frogs. Yay. Welcome in. We have a new friend today. Hello. It's so nice to see you. Feel free to come on. Make yourself comfortable. Well, before, ooh, that one's cool. Before I read my story, I have a question. Do you ever dream of something that people tell you is not possible or impossible? Yes? Would you like to share? Okay. You know, so it's hard. It's hard, but does that mean it's not possible? You want to be an artist? Okay. What else? Do you want to share? No? That's okay. You don't have to share. Do you ever dream of something that people tell you is impossible? No? He's very realistic, this one, right? Everything is possible. Yeah? What you got? Yeah? I didn't think it was possible to have cow ears in here today. But as you can see, nothing's impossible. This is cool. I'll look forward to you telling me about this after the service. How about that? Okay, perfect. Well, I have a book I'm going to share. I just found this book. I thrifted it. I like to say that. I thrifted it. It's one of my favorite things. Let me see here. All right. Uni the unicorn. So are unicorns possible? I got nose, maybe, aliens, maybe. Well, it could be. Well, this is a story about believing, so let's find out what happens. In almost every way, Uni was like all the other unicorns. Magnificent mane, though Uni's was extra magnificent. Golden hooves, though Uni's were extra golden. Sparkling purple eyes, though Uni's were extra sparkling. Ooh, isn't she pretty? Yeah. Like the other unicorns, Uni had a special swirly horn with the power to heal and mend. Is that possible? Yes. Yeah, it's called medicine. All about plants. Cool. And like the other unicorns, Uni could make wishes come true. Ooh. I didn't know that was possible. But there was one thing that definitely set Uni apart. Uni believed that little girls were real. Uni's friends laughed and said, ha ha ha, silly Uni. Everyone knows there's no such thing as little girls. They're just make-believe. That's not true. You're right there. At home, Uni's parents just brushed it off with knowing smiles. But Uni was certain, absolutely certain, that little girls were real, no matter what everyone else said. Uni knew that somewhere far away, but not that far away, there was a little girl waiting, a strong, smart, wonderful, magical little girl, and she would be the best friend a unicorn could ever ask for. Uni imagined all the things they would do together. They would run fast through the meadow. Oh, are they having fun? Yeah. They would spin and twirl in the sunlight. Does that look like something you would like to do? No?
She's also painted on the screen.
Yeah, she's painting. Do unicorns paint? Well, seems so. And, right. They need hands to paint? Oh, goodness, I don't know how they do it.
She's got the paintbrush in between her hooves.
In between her hooves. See, someone is using their imagination. They would explore and help forest creatures in need. Oh, and so they become friends, and they don't just play around, they help other forest creatures. I'm very Unitarian. Other times, they would just sit quietly and talk about important things. Oh, we do that too, don't we? Yeah. And of course, they would slide down rainbows together. Whee! That looks like fun. Uni fell asleep that night and had enchanted dreams. What Uni did not yet know, but would discover soon enough, was that somewhere far away, but not that far away, there was indeed a real little girl. And even though her friends said, ha ha, unicorns are just make-believe, and despite her parents' knowing smiles, this little girl was certain, absolutely certain, that there was a unicorn, a strong, smart, wonderful, magical unicorn, just waiting to be her friend. Oh. The end. So what do you think? Do you think that's possible?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it is. Well, sometimes as Unitarian Universalists, we have really big aspirations and dreams of a peaceful, harmonious, beautiful world where everybody is kind to one another. Is that possible? Do people tell you that's not possible? I'm glad that they don't tell you that, because I know I've heard that. But you know what? I don't know if I want to listen to those people. Should we let people tell us it's not possible?
No.
Good answer. So what can we do to make our dreams a reality? What can we do? Do some painting. Be nice. Can we slide down rainbows together?
Yes.
Okay, woo, we're gonna find a way.
And I saw a double rainbow.
You did? Did you get real close to it? Or is it just way up in the sky?
We saw it when we were driving home.
That's so cool. A double rainbow. Excellent.
Rainbow on top of another rainbow.
A rainbow on top of another rainbow. That is cool. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to send you out of here, but I just want you to remember that maybe nothing is impossible. Maybe our dreams really can become a reality if we open ourselves up to possibilities. What do you think? Can you keep that little promise in your heart?
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay. All right. That's good enough. That's good enough. All right. Well, you're welcome to go out and have a wonderful time together. Be kind. Play with one another. Pick flowers. Sit nicely and talk about fun things.
Following up on Heather's story, it reminds me of a statement by an important person back in the late 19th century. That person said, "If God intended us to fly, he would have given us wings." Well, we, mankind, made our own wings. And maybe we do that here also. Here we gather, tucked back in this friendly neighborhood between the beautiful tall pines. We are a small church with big aspirations, but we can grow into those aspirations when we give our time, talent, and treasures. Delightfully, this is a relationship of reciprocity. For in return for our giving, we receive the gifts of community, friendship, support, connection, and joy. The ushers will now pass the plates. Please repeat after me. It is a blessing to be.
It is a blessing to be.
It is a blessing to be here.
It is a blessing to be here.
Is it a blessing to be here now?
It is a blessing to be here now.
It is a blessing to be here now together.
It is a blessing to be here now together.
Clear the healing candle.
Tom, would you please light our healing candle for us today? We all make mistakes, and we all need forgiveness. That is one path to healing. And Isaiah picked a song out for us today, and I asked him to say a little bit about why he chose this song.
So I picked 1037, that's in the teal. That is We Begin Again in Love. Sometimes we make mistakes, and sometimes we have, moments of weakness. Actually, the few times that my wife is here, I think some of y'all met my wife last night. And I was talking to Jessica and her mom, and Jessica was like, is that Isaiah's wife? And Jessica's mom, Susie, was like, that better be his wife. But anyways, one day, we were singing this song one of the few times Corey came, and we sang this song, and she thought it was a pretty nice song. And so after church, we were leaving, and someone was really, going real slow on the road, and I was, cussing them out, in my head, that kind of thing, in the car. I didn't roll down the window or nothing. And then Corey, she was like, we forgive ourselves and each other. And I was like, you ain't supposed to do that. But yeah, this is the song I picked because I think we should always begin again in love. And so I'll start it off. For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference. We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time that our fears have made us rigid and accessible. We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time we have struck out in anger without just cause, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time that our greed has blinded us to the needs of others, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For the selfishness that sets us apart and alone, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For losing sight of our unity, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For those and for so many acts, both evident and subtle, which have fueled the illusion of separateness, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
Thank you, Isaiah, for providing us with a meaningful song that can stay with us as we walk out into that world and find the ways to heal each other. Thank you. As a congregation, we come together in many ways. Through collaboration and commitment, we support one another. Our ritual of joys and sorrows allows us to put that into tangible practice. Our Joys and Sorrows book is an opportunity to share with everyone here something that is occurring in your life, whether that be an ongoing source of grief or something that made you smile for a brief yet memorable moment. Before the beginning of service, the Joys and Sorrows book is accessible to anyone who wishes to write down a personal joy or sorrow to share. It sits on the podium just through the main entrance to the sanctuary. Thank you, Tim. So this is from Stephen Hunt. It says, sorry for the length of this. No need to apologize. I have combined several items from recent weeks. First, an unalloyed joy, becoming a member of this wonderful congregation. It's a joy for us too. And then participating with many of you at the No Kings rally. More recently, I was in Jacksonville Beach with my sons and daughter-in-law for a blues festival. It was about a year after the death of my wife, Wendy, who attended a similar festival in Iowa every year with me. So this year, I was smiling as I enjoyed the music and the company, but my eyes were wet because Wendy was gone, and my older son and daughter-in-law would soon be moving far away. But overall, it has been a good 5 weeks. This last year, I have learned to be grateful for what I have or had, as this reduces the sorrow of loss. Steve, you are not alone. We are holding it together. From Gail and Dan Lewis, they want to share the joy of adopting 2 cats from the SPCA. It's a wonderful organization, saving cats and dogs. We are thankful for the opportunity to give the best life to cats who had a rough start. Well, thank you for your generosity and care for those cats, even though they are a little bit mischievous. Also, an update, Nick, his surgery was successful. He is still recovering, yay. But coming along great. And they're already talking about sending him home, so Catherine's preparing for that. So let's just keep them in our thoughts as they move forward. As a congregation, we value interdependence. Sharing joys and sorrows through words and ritual is a part of what that means to us. So I invite all of you now to partake in our ritual of dropping stones into our joys and sorrows bowls. There's one on each side of the chalice table. It is an act of coming together, perhaps with the divine or fellow members of the congregation, or even parts of yourself that you wish to connect with. So in this moment, you are welcome to come together in whichever way feels right to you. Our stones are at the back of the sanctuary next to the stand, and you may form 2 lines and come and drop them in the bowls. Thank you. You are not alone. We are holding it together. When I think about our anchor quote for this month, leave a little fallow corner in your heart, ready for any seed the winds may bring. I think about how we, the human members of an evolving creation, might benefit from being open to new possibilities. I wonder how much damage we've done here on earth by trying to force life to take the shape of the familiar rather than being ready to embrace new possibilities, created with the unknown seeds that the winds inevitably bring. What if, rather than creating everything in our lives to be just so, just as we know it should be, what if we leave some things undone, not perfect, incomplete, and we wait patiently to see what arises? Quite literally, my backyard, an unfinished, always growing, and never complete plot of land, is one of those places where new possibilities can be embraced. In my backyard, from a tall metal pole, hangs 2 to 6 bird feeders, depending on the season. Near the feeders and in front of some bushes and a fence are 2 bird baths. Native Florida bushes and some wildflowers, those things that some people call weeds, grow in abundance. My yard, compared to the standard of a normal suburban home, looks messy. It is far from being a typical, well-manicured Florida lawn with green grass, carefully trimmed bushes, and purposefully planted flowers. But I wouldn't want it any other way, however, because the birds love it. And since moving in 9 years ago, several different species of birds have flown in on the wind and found a bountiful, safe home. I've learned to accept my so-called unfinished and not perfectly landscaped backyard as a place of possibility. But that doesn't mean that I don't tend to it. I certainly do, but I do so as if I am in community with the birds. After all, we do share this earth. When I put up a bird feeder 9 years ago, I made a connection. And in order for that connection to flourish into a healthy relationship, in order for the birds and I to live into the possibilities of a thriving future, I had to make a promise. Our shared UU value of interdependence asks us to covenant to cherish earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. I am a person of faith, not a person who has faith in a God. I am a person who believes that to live faithfully means to live into the covenants of my Unitarian Universalist faith tradition. To have faith means that I believe that living into our shared UU values and covenants can create beautiful possibilities. Watching birds at backyard feeders is not just a spectator sport. When you make a connection to the birds, those living, breathing, creative beings that are as tied to the earth as you and me, you need to take your commitment to them seriously. My faith says when you put out a bird feeder, you are taking care of sacred beings. You are entering into a covenant with them. Relationships with sacred beings, even birds, should be ones that encompass care and respect. So those bird feeders need to be cleaned regularly, especially when bird flu is a danger. The bird baths are a daily chore, especially during times of drought, especially when birds come to depend on that small offering of clean water. Putting in native plants that produce berries to eat is another way to ensure a food source. Not all birds eat seeds and berries, of course. Many eat insects. And so it is vitally important to be sure that insecticides and fertilizers are not used improperly and harming the birds through the plants and insects they eat. When birds migrate, as they do in great numbers through Florida from September to May, they fly in huge mixed species flocks. So you have to be sure to provide for not just the seed eater, but the others they bring with them. I have a pair of barred owls that live in my trees, and they've been there for several years now. They eat mice, which means I can't put poison out, or I'll kill the owls. Additionally, having owls means I need to protect the smaller birds from them by providing the smaller birds places to hide around my feeders. The wrens and the painted buntings seem to appreciate the piles of branches that were placed around my fire pits. Bird food is not cheap. It's an investment. So I pay close attention to what they love, to which kinds of food attract which birds. So no, bird watching is not a spectator sport. When you enter the world of birds, you've entered into a commitment, a covenant of sorts, to care for them. But it's not all sacrifice, not even close. I get over 30 different species of birds in my yard throughout the year. And even if you don't care that much about birds, can you really deny the beauty of a male painted bunting and the absolute pleasure it brings to witness one with your own eyes? It's there somewhere. I get those too. To watch the birds, to see them satisfied with the food I put out, to observe their carefree ways of splashing around in the bath and to notice how they interact with one another brings so much joy. It's like watching the divine play in my yard. My yard is a bit messy, but here's the thing. I haven't created it by myself. I didn't move into the house and take over the yard with a well-manicured, fertilized, pest-free lawn and say, it's done. I moved in, stepped slowly into bird world, and made a connection. I continue to listen to their songs and pay attention to their lives. I leave the space open for possibilities. The birds and I have an unspoken covenant to take care of one another. I provide a nourishing space for them, they nourish my soul. Together we are engaged in creating the sanctuary that is my backyard. So I ask that you center yourselves now in a dream. Something that you think perhaps isn't possible. A dream of peace, of kindness. And think about how our covenants ask us to find that dream, to open us up to the possibilities. And to imagine the ways in which we can build something peaceful and beautiful and harmonious together. And then let us sing our centering song, Be Still and Breathe.
Be still and be
Many people come into Unitarian Universalism for what it is not. It is not a creedal, dogmatic religion that condemns and excludes the wholeness of who you are. But how often do we come to this faith for what it is? A religion which binds its people together through covenants or promises we make with one another for how we should live. A creed is a statement of belief. We are very familiar with religions which are bound together by what they believe. And I think it is safe to say that creedal, dogmatic religions have caused a lot of harm in this world. A covenant, however, is not a statement of belief. It is more like a promise for how we should live together. Covenant is an ancient theme found in Hebrew and Christian scriptures. Covenant was central to the Puritans when they came here to gather and organize a new kind of church, one not structured by a hierarchy that grips people with dogma and confines them to a specific way of being together. Instead, the Puritans sought to build churches that were created by mutual consent for mutual benefit in a time and place where survival depended on mutual cooperation. Now, Puritans were not democratically governed or theologically diverse, to be sure, by any means. They did have their own creeds and they were colonizers. But they did write something called the Cambridge Platform. And because that platform incorporated a particular kind of covenant, it allowed for new possibilities to be embraced. The Cambridge Platform of 1648 is the document that supported the establishment of what we call congregational polity, meaning that each congregation has the right to govern itself through its own covenant. 20th century Unitarian Universalist minister Forrest Church paraphrased the Puritans' essential covenant as this: "We pledge to walk together in the ways of truth and affection, as best we know them now, or may learn them in the days to come, that we and our children may be fulfilled, and that we may speak to the world in words and actions of peace and goodwill." Do you know what that covenant and that establishment of congregational polity eventually helped to grow? American Unitarian congregations. Yes. Origins in Puritanism. Hard to believe, but it's true. So American Unitarian congregations came into being, and they kept the idea of congregational polity and covenant as central to their formation and identity while dropping the creeds of their forefathers. And here we are. We govern ourselves through our own covenants. So although many of us came into Unitarian Universalism for what it is not a dogmatic religion, we still have a ways to go before it is fully realized that we have entered into a faith that does indeed ask something of us. It asks us to be active in creating and maintaining covenants with one another. Just like putting up a bird feeder, sitting back and hoping to merely observe, we are unlikely to sustain ourselves if we are not up to the task of the care and nurturing of our interdependence. So we are not bound by what we believe. We are held together by and because of our relationships. We are a people of faith who are open to the new possibilities that those relationships bring. But relationships are hard. Building a sustainable community is hard. Covenants that call us to be accountable to one another are the way to make that work. This place, this church, doesn't look like the well-manicured mainline churches. That's for sure. And aren't we happy that it doesn't? All right. Indeed, underneath the tall pines here is a community that some think is a little messy. In fact, however, what we are is a community that is working together to find the ways and the new possibilities in which everyone is included and in which everyone can thrive. We want to embrace the possibilities that help us create a bountiful and nourishing sanctuary. We navigate this together, and sometimes it is messy. To be a faithful UU is to dig into and understand what our covenants are asking of us, to listen to each other, to speak up when we feel hurt, to be accountable for our mistakes, to forgive, to learn, to share our ideas, to grow, to engage, to be curious, to help out and pitch in with our time, talent, and treasures. Then we will be successful in reaching our aspirations. Covenant is the foundational alternative to a creed. It requires relational accountability over individualism, meaning that although we are each allowed the freedom to believe whatever we want to about God, the holy or the divine, however you name it or don't, we are called to something more, something that builds a sanctuary. Our UU covenants focus on how we can live together, not on what we should believe. Covenant is a mutual, living promise that is continually reaffirmed through the work we do together. Covenant is our spiritual practice. It feeds and cares for us. So let us practice that now. Let us take a look at the covenants that are embedded in our shared UU values. If you don't know, if you are new, we say we are centered in love to uphold these 6 values that we have on the wall. And so what I did was I pulled the covenants out of those so that we can look at them and read them together. So we say, we covenant, let's see, what do we got? Yes, read it with me. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. We covenant to cherish Earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. So, what do our covenants call us to? Love, care, yeah, respect, equity, yeah, generosity, justice, transformation, pluralism, dismantling oppression. These are action words. Action, engagement, paying attention, fulfilling our part of the relationship, creating a sanctuary together. Sometimes covenants get broken. We make mistakes. But as one UU church stated, we are a promise-making, promise-breaking, and promise-restoring kind of people. So when you step into this faith and it begins to find that fallow ground in your heart, you hopefully come to realize that Unitarian Universalism is not a spectator sport. You don't just come in, sit down, listen to the sermon, and leave. If that's what you were hoping for, I might say to you, be ready for any seed the winds may bring. Embracing possibilities centered in love is what we're all about. May it be so, and may it be so together. Amen. Closing words.
At the Wake of the Old Way, written by Jan Phillips. We are attendants at the wake of the old way, and each of us, through our actions, our thoughts, our work, and relationships, is midwifing a new world into existence. And when we come to our days with this awareness, and when we fully wake up to this tremendous privilege, when we sense the oak in the acorn of our beings, then we will have the energy to move mountains and shift the tides. With this charge, may we go to our annual meeting. Ready to make real the possibilities waiting to be born.
Thank you, Tom. Well, as of very early this morning, I had not yet picked out a closing song. And I thought, well, isn't that what I said? Possibilities arise in the unfinished and the incomplete. And well, thank goodness Isaiah had a closing song. People get ready. Yep, there you are. Feel free to sing along if you know it.
People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. So people get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors in boredom. There's hope for all those among love the most. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind just to save his own. Believe me now, have pity on those whose chances grow thinner, for there's no hiding place against the kingdom's throne. So people get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need a ticket, you just thank the Lord.
The possibilities, we're switching roles. Let us extinguish the chalice, Tom. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here with us today. I look forward to all of the possibilities that we can embrace together and to the sanctuary that we can create, remembering that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are a blessing. Feel free to gather in the social hall, and then we will come back in here for our annual meeting. And there's probably leftover food from last night. There is, so enjoy.
People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, you You just thank the Lord. So people get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open the doors and boredom. There's hope for all among those love the most. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind just to save his own. Believe me now, have pity on those whose chances grow thinner, for there's no hiding place against the kingdom's throne. So people get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the